Okay, there we go. Technology. Okay, so today live, I want to talk to you about, what did I name this thing? I named it, hang on, there we go. Okay, so today's title is going to be 2 things that you can do when you feel like your hair is at its worst. And I'm speaking from experience, so I wanted to share this with you. And one of the things that I know that's associated with hair loss is that you're very emotional, because it just takes you off guard, because your hair is considered your crown, as part of your identity. And so it's almost like you having a identity crisis once you start seeing your hair shedding, or it's on the floor, it's in the bed. It's like, what is going on? And I know that the emotions that come with it is like, it's shame, it's embarrassment, it's fear of the unknown, because you don't know if this is a temporary thing, if it's a short thing. And so you really want to first just catch your emotions, just catch how you're feeling. And I say that because in my studies, I've learned that hair loss is associated with certain emotions. So I'm going to read to you what hair loss is associated with. And I know this is going to resonate with you, because soon I read this, it resonated with me. But hair loss is associated with the emotions of stress. It's the emotions of feeling like you have loss of protection, feeling like you have confidence, so a confidence issue, self-love, direction, like you're just feeling clueless now. You can feel unattractive. It can be associated if you have too much judgment and criticism for yourself as well as others. If you have frustration, guilt, resentment, any anger, like all that is going to play into how you're feeling. It's the emotional part to what's going on with your hair loss. And it is also known to push against the current, like rather than allowing your life to flow. So meaning, when you first experience hair loss, you will sometimes have a tendency, I wouldn't say sometimes, you will have a tendency to blow it off. Like, how many times have you sat in your stylist chair or your barber's chair, and they pointed out to you and said, hey, your hair is a little thin here, or did you notice this little spot right here? And you'll hear it, you'll think about it, you're like, oh, it's nothing, or you'll blow it off, or you're thinking it's, something that you did, with your hair, later on, but you think like, oh, it'll grow back. But then before you know it, it will fester, and it'll get bigger, and then it'll get worse, and then it's out of control. So the main thing that I want to remind you is, when you're experiencing hair loss and you feel like it's the worst that it's ever been, the first thing you got to do is take control of your emotions and really get a grip on that, so you can begin to deal with your options. And that's going to lead me to my second point that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So now that you have the hair loss, now you want to weigh your options to see, okay, what's the best thing that you can do right now, to make you still feel attractive and presentable, and to get your hair to come back in. And so one of the things that you can do is, do you need to cut your hair? I know a lot of people, when you're having hair loss, that's the last thing you want to do, is to cut your hair, because then you feel like, oh, I'm bald headed and I don't want to be bald. But sometimes that is what you may need to do, just depending on what area of the hair that it's in and how comfortable you feel with cutting your hair. I know for me, when I was experiencing hair loss, I think the first time that I did it, it didn't bother me, so I just did the big chop, as they call it, because I never had a big chop anyway, so I wanted to just see what my hair would look like in its natural state. And plus I was just ready to let go of relaxers and everything else that I was doing, so I didn't mind. And then the next thing you want to do is start looking for styles that will suit you and your lifestyle. So that's another option that you have to do. And you want to look at these options to make sure it's not going to do any further damage to your hair, and that it gives your scalp a chance to heal and to grow and to come back in. So those are the two things that you can do when you feel, again, like, so when you feel like it's all emotional thing, it's all a mindset thing. So it's one, you want to catch your emotions, and two, you want to weigh your options. And then I'm going to give you a bonus, because this is what I noticed dealing with clients, and it just gets under my skin when they do this. It's like, I'll restore, I'll help them get their hair back. It's all nice. It's starting to flourish in. It's getting full. And then they want to go right back and do the same thing that got them in that position with their hair again. So meaning, like, you got your hair to come back in, you got your edges to come back in, or you got your crown to come back in, because that's what a lot of the hair loss that I've been talking to and consulting with clients, they're experiencing the hair loss in the middle. And then once we get them situated, they're on their routine, everything's good, their hair coming back in, either they want to color it or they want to do the same style that got them back in that situation, meaning they want to go braid it or put color in it. And it's like, no, do not go back to what got you in that situation in the first place. But that's my little tidbits for you. But so that's all that I had for you guys. Thank you so much for hopping on into yes, nerve-wracking. But thank you guys so much for hopping on this live real quick. I gotta get going.